Aikman and the Cowboys battered and bruised at Carolina as the upstart Panthers flex some muscle and move on to the NFC title game in Titletown. Curtis Martin spearheads the Patriots in the fog at New England as Bill Parcells heads to the AFC game at the Garden. Allen Houston and the Knicks put down a Milwaukee uprising, while across the way at the Meadowlands Arena, Ken Danico inadvertently aids the Blues uprising. We hear from Coley and the Rangers on a big Monday matchup, plus Greg Norman with a rare clutch moment. More next on Sportsdesk. Hi again, everybody. Bob Paige welcoming you back to our Sports Desk studios here at the Garden. Now, as we give you our full 30-minute edition of the Coors Light MSG Sports Desk. What an amazing story these two NFL expansion franchises have become. In fact, right now, we are looking at one of the truly great stories in the history of the National Football League. And should somehow, in their second year of existence, these two teams actually meet in the Super Bowl, we're looking at the greatest story in the history of pro football and one of the big stories in the history of sports in general. The Carolina Panthers advanced to the NFC title game today with a home victory over the Dallas Cowboys, 26-17, before some 75,000 rabid fans. And forget those critics who claim correctly that Carolina and Jacksonville were given unprecedented advantages for expansion clubs. These two teams, as I've said before, knew what free agents to pursue. They knew what players to draft. They knew what coaches to go after and hire. Ask the Jets how tough this kind of stuff is. As for the ball game this afternoon, more problems injury-wise for the Cowboys. Michael Irvin went out in the first series. Dallas had scored first, but Kerry Collins rolls out and throws to Wesley Walls for a touchdown. 9.5 minutes into the opening quarter, 7-3 Panthers. Early in the second, Collins to Willie Green from 10 yards out, 14-3. Now, Dallas did come back. Aikman finds former Syracuse star Moose Johnston for a touchdown, 14-9. Why did Barry Switzer go for 2 points here? It's early in the game. This is a low percentage play. Kick the extra point. Naturally, it fails as Aikman's pass goes awry. Dallas did get the 2 points back on a safety moments later, but Aikman was then picked off by Chad Cota. I guess he didn't see him. Cota returns at 49 yards. That sets up a Carolina field goal, and it was 17-11 at halftime. 20-14 going into the fourth quarter. John Casey nails a 40-yard field goal for Carolina. In Dallas's defense, Jay Novacek out for the year. Charles Haley didn't play, Leon Lett didn't play, and even Deion Sanders hurt semi-conscious there with a head injury. Emmitt Smith gamely tries to keep Dallas in. 26-yard touchdown run leads to a field goal that made it 23-17. Ron Stark, in a big moment here, punts, and the ball would be downed on the 2-yard line, putting the Cowboys in the hole once again. The defending Super Bowl champions have done so well in recent years, then saw their last gasp here as Aikman is intercepted by Pat Terrell. Yes, the same Pat Terrell who somehow wasn't good enough to play for the Jets, who let him go, but he's starting for Carolina. 49 yards, sets up another Casey field goal as Emmitt looks on in frustration. What a job Dom Capers and Carolina have done.
They made the plays and we didn't make the plays. Same old story we had all year long. Get the ball in scoring position, have to kick field goals instead of make touchdowns. That's the difference tonight for us. Finally caught up to us, and that's it. We couldn't get it in the end zone.
I've felt the last 2 weeks that our players believe we could go out and win this game. So nothing that this team does really surprises me. You know, we have a group of veteran players that give us outstanding leadership. We have a group of young players that are improving. And we have a group that believe in themselves.
I know what this team has going for it. It's evident. I mean, I don't know why everybody keeps wanting to hit us up this respect crap. I mean, we're 9-0 at our home stadium, okay? We're going into the championship game. We have a physical team. We can run the ball. We can stop the run. We can throw the run. And we can pick off passes. We can pressure the quarterback. I mean, this is a good team. Y'all decide whether y'all want to respect us or not. I'm not going to beg nobody to respect us. You know, our points on the board and the wins in the bank, that speaks for itself.
Some good thoughts from Kevin Green. And while we talk about respect and while you look at the numbers from today's game, how about a word of respect for Barry Switzer? Guy won the Super Bowl in his first year as head coach. Despite all these injuries, he got the Cowboys back into the playoffs. It would be a travesty if Jerry Jones, as has been speculated, fires Switzer just because the Dallas Cowboys did not get back to the Super Bowl and win it once again. In terms of the AFC, we'll check that story out. Jacksonville, the big news there coming from yesterday, and the big game today as well at New England. Right after these messages.
Coors Light Sports Desk is brought to you by Metroliner, the smarter shuttle.
If you've got business in Washington, you can take the Causeway, the Beltway, the Parkway, or the better way. Amtrak Metroliner, 15 departures daily, the smarter shuttle.
The New York Yankees are champions. All the remarkable stories of the Yankees' 1996 season are showcased in the video, Pinstripe Destiny, sponsored by MSG. From opening day to its glorious last out, you'll relive all the Yankees' most memorable moments. You'll see clutch pitching, game-saving defense, and incredible heroics. Pinstripe Destiny, a great gift for Yankees fans, is available where videos are sold.
Hold it. This isn't you, it's an older guy.
Oh, that was before I got rid of my gray hair with Just for Men hair color.
Come on, that's too natural to be hair coloring.
Just for Men. Apply and in 5 minutes rinse. Gray is blended away for a totally natural look.
Think it'll work for me?
In 5 minutes.
Just for Men looks too natural to be hair coloring. And now try Just for Men Color Gel for the hard-to-color hair of mustaches and beards. Brush in, rinse out. Just 5 minutes.
Boom, kaboom, shoot! Score! SCA across to the trailer Leach. He scores! Oh, what a play by the Rangers!
In the AFC playoffs today, New England earned the right to host upstart Jacksonville in the AFC playoffs 1 week from today. The AFC championship game, the Patriots overcame that atrocious weather in Foxborough and the defending AFC champion Pittsburgh Steelers in an impressive 28-3 romp. As Jets quarterback Neil O'Donnell is lamenting his foolish, greedy decision to leave for the Jets, O'Donnell's loss clearly felt by the Pittsburgh Steelers, which just did not have enough offense to get back to the Super Bowl without O'Donnell. What a day weather-wise. Fog, heavy. The Bill Parcells and the Patriots certainly were not affected by it. The Steelers seemed to be in a fog all day long. First play from scrimmage, the defense lets Terry Glenn get behind them. Drew Bledsoe, 53 yards to Glenn. And then the next play, Curtis Martin scores on a 2-yard touchdown run. Bill Cowher and the Steelers were behind for good in this ball game. Next possession, it's Bledsoe on the screen to Keith Byers. He goes 34 yards for the touchdown, his first playoff TD, and that makes it 14-0 for New England. The Patriots defense kept the pressure on Mike Tomczak and Cordell Stewart all day long, sacking Tomczak there. Then 5 minutes into the second quarter, New England put this one away. If there was ever any doubt, there wasn't after this run. Martin takes the pitch, cuts back, he's off to the races, galloping 78 yards for his second touchdown of the game. He would have 166 yards and 3 TDs on the day, 21-0 New England at the half. Now late third. It's Martin cutting back and rumbling 23 yards for still another touchdown. The route was officially on. 28-3, the Patriots on top of the Steelers. And look at the fans that are back in New England. Later, Tomczak harassed again, hit and intercepted by Willie Clay. Woodson upset on the Steelers sideline. Bill Parcells, what a job he has done, and the New England fans basically begging the Patriots to not let him go.
And we see how disruptive they were last week against the Colts. So that was one of our focuses, to make sure that they wouldn't disrupt our game with their blitz. And I feel that the offensive line and everyone else who had the block did a good job picking it up.
I think you have to give the credit to our coaching staff. You know, they had us prepared. Bill got us rested, and we just had a great game plan coming in. So the credit really has to go to those guys for getting that done.
All I can say is you saw the game. We had 3 big plays early in the first half and dug ourselves a hole that we couldn't get out of. And my hat's off to New England. They did a great job, and they deserve to be going to the AFC Championship, and that's really the bottom line.
We realized the opportunity that we had. You know, this is the first time that the Patriots have been in this situation, that we have been in this situation in a long time. We didn't want to lose it because of lack of preparation or lack of readiness. So we made sure we stayed ready and we stayed, you know, just focused on what we had to do in the upcoming game against the Steelers.
We are told there were audio problems in Foxborough today with Bill Parcells' post-game news conference. That is why we do not hear from him, and we apologize to you for that. As again, some of the numbers from today's game, Drew Bledsoe certainly played well enough to win, not mind-boggling numbers, but he got the job done. And then Curtis Martin and so on and so forth. New England's first playoff win since the year they went to the Super Bowl back in 1986 as a wild card team. While speculation continues that the Jets have not, here are the conference championship games first. Panthers at the Packers. That comes up Sunday at 12:30, and then following that, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars at New England against Bill Parcells and the Patriots. While speculation continues, I was starting to say that the Jets have not even interviewed anybody because they are waiting for Parcells to fill their head coaching job. It's going to be nearly impossible now for the Patriots to let him go. When you look at the fannies in those seats at Foxborough that we saw a moment ago, thanks to Parcells, when you look at those fans that we saw a moment ago bringing signs imploring the Patriots to keep Bill Parcells, when you look at how Parcells has almost single-handedly turned this franchise around and rekindled interest in New England, what a public relations disaster it would be if Patriots owner Bob Kraft does not give Parcells the power and the money he wants and bring him back. If Bill Parcells does get to the Super Bowl, and especially if he wins the Super Bowl, Kraft won't have any choice, and the Jets will be left looking foolish once again. Speaking of the Jets, at least those lucky enough to have escaped Stalag Hempstead and go on to bigger and better things, Jeff Lageman and his Jacksonville teammates had quite a reception this morning when longtime Parcells assistant Tom Coughlin, now Jacksonville head coach, and the team returned to town following their stunning upset win Saturday in Denver. Some 40,000 screaming fans showed up at the stadium to honor them at a 1:30 a.m. ceremony, which saw Lageman point out one of the keys to the win.
I want you guys all to hear this right here. All of my teammates and myself woke up this morning and read the front page of the Denver Post sports section. I want to read the first paragraph to you. You'll get a kick out of this. Jacksonville Jaguars? What league are they in? When did the NFL start letting USFL teams participate in the playoffs? Did I miss something? Or are the Jags from that goofy World League or the Continental Basketball Association? After the Broncos dispense with these Jaguars today, do they face Barcelona Bobcats, Birmingham Power, or Light? No, we're going to the AFC Conference Championship game this week.
The only thing I would add to that is we will remember next time we hear the stock jock response to the media when they say newspapers. We never, ever, ever read the newspapers and don't care what anybody says. We'll continue after we pause again for this time out.
I'd like to start getting home delivery of the New York Times.
Get a head start on your day by having the New York Times delivered to your home every morning. And if you call now, you'll get 50% off the regular home delivery price.
I enjoy waking up and having the New York Times waiting for me. I know it'll tell me things I won't hear, read, or see anywhere else.
I read Business Day first thing. Gives me the story behind the scenes and who the players are.
For just $3.60 a week, you'll get insights into politics, business, and international news. And each Sunday, you'll get the book review, travel, arts and leisure, week in review, and the celebrated New York Times Magazine.
Hi, I'd like to order home delivery of the New York Times. Times doesn't just report on the issues, it helps me to understand them. And that's important when I'm making decisions that'll affect my family.
So call now, 1-800-357-4820, and get the New York Times delivered to your home every morning.
I can't imagine starting my day without it.
He scores! And a break! Brindamore puts it in front, and Richter's made the save. Messier turns to the empty net. A hat trick for Mark Messier. How about that? Wayne Gretzky with his first goal as a New York Ranger. Gretzky moving in. He shoots, he scores. Rebound, score. Wayne Gretzky. It's a power play goal. Score. Wayne Gretzky on a backhander. Driver with a good pass down low. Score. Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky.
Welcome back to the show. Former Hartford Whalers defenseman Joel Quenneville is expected to be named new head coach of the St. Louis Blues at a news conference tomorrow. Quenneville abruptly resigned today as an assistant with the Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche. Blues at the Meadowlands Arena tonight to take on the Devils. Former Devil enforcer Mike Peluso, recently traded to St. Louis, was injured and did not play. Blues did not need him, as you see. Jimmy Roberts coaching his last game. He's the interim head man, and company post a 5-3 victory. Devils got on the board first, 13:56. Billy Guerin on a tear of late sets up Scott Stevens for his third goal of the year. And 5 minutes later, the Devils tally again. John McClain to rookie Jay Pandolfo. He beats Grant Fuhr, New Jersey up 2-0, and then folded. Just 43 seconds into the second period, Brett Hull feeds ex-Islander Pierre Turgeon. He beats Martin Brodeur, just his 6th goal of the season. And then 2 minutes later, one of the players, Lou Lamoriello, so stupidly traded away in the Peluso deal, Ricard Persson, gets credit for a goal that actually bounces in off Ken Danico. So the game was tied at this point. And then Jacques saw another ex-Devil, Scott Pellerin, snap a wrist shot that trickles past Brodeur. This is the go-ahead marker, his 3rd of the season. 3 unanswered second-period goals. It was 3-2 going into the 3rd, where Jeff Courtnall sets up somebody named Libor Zabransky for, I presume, his first NHL goal. Dave Andrechuk scored late. The next Ranger, Stefan Matteau, added an empty netter to make the final 5-3 St. Louis. The Devils host Colorado on Wednesday. The others in the NHL tonight on a very, very brief schedule. Buffalo got a couple goals from Derek Plant. Hasek made 30 saves, and they won big at home over Phoenix 5-1. And Detroit playing at Chicago 5-4 late 3rd period. How big a rivalry is this, you ask? Not only one of the biggest in the NFL, it is so big that former close friends and fellow enforcers Joey Kocur and Bob Probert actually dropped the gloves and went at each other. Now, they have fought before, you'll recall, when Kocur was a Ranger. Joey let go by the Rangers and just signed by Detroit after playing at San Antonio of the International Hockey League this year. So he and Probert have certainly put their friendship and their relationship in Detroit behind them when they were the most feared 1-2 combination fighting-wise in all of hockey. Rangers entertain the Colorado Avalanche tomorrow night at the Garden, and they will not have to worry about facing Colorado's superstar forward Joe Sakic. Sakic suffered a deep laceration in his thigh in last night's 4-4 tie at Philadelphia. He will be out at least a month. Our live coverage of tomorrow night's game here on Madison Square Garden Network starts as usual at 7 o'clock for Sports Desk and Rangers game night. Rangers worked out bright and early this morning at Rye. Impressive considering they played just last night at the Garden, but the defending Stanley Cup champs' arrival hastened the practice.
Well, I think you're playing a top team in the league, and they're going to come in and play with intensity, and with their talent level, that's pretty tough to beat. On any given night, they're going to come with a good effort, and that's why the top of the league. They're a really good quality team, well coached, and they seem to be pretty motivated to repeat. So we'll have our hands full, and I think it's a good challenge for us because we've been playing some teams that haven't been at the top of the league, and we're really looking forward to getting our game up where it should be.
Well, it certainly will be a test. They've got some key players out, and Sakic went down last night. Whether he's out or not for a game, I don't know. But they seem to play much more desperate. They have Lemieux back, and there's one main constant that you have to look at any team like Colorado's, that they won the Cup. Any team that won the Stanley Cup have key contributors on their team, the Krupps and the Foots and the Waz and Ricci's back, and they've got some good young players. So their team that's in first overall, and they're battling through some injuries, and they'll be much stronger for it when they're but when their injured guys come back. So they're going to come in hungry tomorrow night, and they're going to know our record, and they're going to know that we beat them back there.
Besides Colorado, much of the talk at practice about the line of Wayne Gretzky, Nicholas Sundstrom, and Luc Robitaille, which blitzed Ottawa.
And it slides right on through.
Nicholas has obviously found his niche playing with Wayne and playing a solid two-way game and complementing Wayne's style perfectly. He's really, and I think Wayne will be the first to tell you, he has really always thrived in a guy that can play a two-way game like Nicholas does. He did it with Curry. To my mind, if you know, one of the best two-way players in the league already, only his second year in the league, and should win the Selke trophy.
As best defensive forward in the National Hockey League. As for the Islanders, they were off tonight. They'll host Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr in Pittsburgh on Tuesday night. A huge afternoon in Hartford. That story's next.
Coors Light Sports Desk is brought to you by Nobody Beats the Wiz. For state-of-the-art home electronics, computers, cameras, music, movies, and more, nobody beats the Wiz.
I picked up the cake.
Relax. Hey, did I authorize that? Sort of.
At GHI, we've been helping employers take good care of their employees for almost 60 years. We give employees direct access to doctors and hospitals throughout New York State. And we give employers a reasonable price tag for it all.
What are you having, a boy or a girl?
A boy and a girl.
GHI. We put the care back in healthcare.
This is MSG Network.
Give him a tape for 70.
Lecter is unbelievable. A no-hitter for Dwight Gooden. MSG Network. We're all over it.
How do you lose fat and build muscle? In only 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week. The Bowflex Better Body Workout. Chest, shoulders, back, arms, abs, and legs. For the body you want, call and get your free video and brochure on the machine that works like an entire gym but fits anywhere in your home.
If you've got business in Washington, you can take the Causeway, the Beltway, the Parkway, or the Better Way. Amtrak Metroliner, 15 departures daily, the smarter shuttle.
Here at the Garden tonight, a game many of you have just seen here on MSG. The Knicks held off the Milwaukee Bucks and posted a 97-92 victory. Bucks were one of the surprise stories in the league this year, but now have dropped 5 straight and have fallen 1 game under 500. So Chris Ford and the Bucks have to keep on working right now. Still a shame that Ford was dispatched in Boston, and the Celtics certainly have gone down the tubes with or without him. Patrick Ewing had a big night tonight with that block. Knicks up 1 going into the second quarter, where Larry Johnson feeds Ewing for the jam. Now, Chris Childs sat this one out with back spasms. He's day-to-day. Charlie Ward started in his stead, responded well. Nice drive and gets the call. He had 10 points, 9 assists. Knicks up by 3, but Glenn Robinson's jumper, he had 18 first-half points, cut the lead to 4, 55-51 at halftime. Robinson led Milwaukee with 25 points to the third quarter, where LJ knocks the ball away from Robinson. Ward to Oakley to Allen Houston for the vicious dunk, 2 of his 15 points. Knicks by 8, and when John Starks canned this three-pointer, New York's lead ballooned to 11. The Knicks continued to pour it on. Patrick would finish with 32 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 blocks. 26 of those points through 3 quarters. That open jump shot put the Knicks up 15 going into the final stanza. And then, as they frequently do, the Knicks let down ex-Hartford star Vin Baker with a drive past Oakley. He had 22 points. The lead down to 9. And here the lead only 6 down the stretch. Larry Johnson's three-point shot basically ices it. 97-92. Again, the Knicks go on to victory. Johnson had 14 points. Dallas comes to the Garden on Tuesday night. And the others in the NBA, the Celtics with a rare victory. They're now 7-23, defeating lowly Phoenix tonight in the Garden, 109-102. Philadelphia trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. They are 8-22, and they're going down to defeat only by 4 points, though, in the fourth quarter at Sacramento. Clippers won at San Antonio, 93-84, and the Lakers have won 5 straight. Vancouver has lost 4 in a row, and the Lakers on top by 9 in the fourth quarter. This is former University of Connecticut All-American Ray Allen's first trip back to Madison Square Garden since his college days. Before tonight's game against the Knicks, MSG's Michael Kay asked him about his decision to leave UConn after his junior year for the National Basketball Association.
College life is tough these days, especially when you're a sought-after superstar in college. It's kind of hard to live knowing that you have to go to classes and you're doing so many things that pertain to basketball, and there's so much attention that surrounds you as a basketball player, and then at the same time you struggle on the financial end of the financial aspect of the whole situation. But college is definitely a great time. I had a great time. I don't think I could have did another year.
Speaking of UConn, we normally don't talk much about women's basketball here, but as most of you know, it is really big in parts of Connecticut. And today at the Hartford Civic Center, a sellout crowd of more than 16,000 turned out to see the University of Connecticut women renew their great rivalry against Tennessee.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of road in Alamo territory, and with Alamo, all those miles are free.